Hey everyone, here's what's coming up tonight on Now. Multiple arrests made in connection to the murder of a man in Lewiston. We'll hear from the family who's waited almost a year for answers.
Plus, the fiance of a man who was working on a roof when he fell and died says she wants other roofing companies to pay attention to the safety equipment they use.
And we'll have the story of a man who helped the police make an arrest even though he can't see. This is News Center Now.
Almost a year after his death, police arrest 3 people in connection with the death of Donald Giusti, the man beaten to death last summer in Kennedy Park in Lewiston. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. News Center Samantha York has more on this developing story and joins us now with the latest. Hey, Sam.
Yeah, guys. So 10 months ago, Donald Giusti was brutally beaten near Kennedy Park in Lewiston. He later died in the hospital. After months with no answers, 3 arrests have been made, and his family says this is their first step towards closure.
You know, it's been a long time.
Jim Thompson and his family wondered if this day would ever come.
No family should ever have to go through what my family's gone through.
Nearly 1 year after his nephew, Donald Giusti, was beaten to death, and months of wondering if anyone would ever be arrested, a break in the case.
Got a phone call this morning around 7:15.
It was the news he and his family had been waiting for. 3 arrests: Pierre Musafari and a 13-year-old boy for assault, a 17-year-old for manslaughter.
I just hope they can find it into their hearts to have some remorse for what they did.
Thompson says the months leading up to these arrests saw major tensions in the Lewiston community, something he and others have been working tirelessly to combat through their Peace in the Park project.
All this fighting and hatred and things like that, you know, it's not good for anybody. Not good for Donnie, not good for our family, not good for our community.
Lewiston's mayor, Kristen Cloutier, echoing that message in a statement, saying, "As the mayor of Lewiston, I hope that we will come together as a community to grieve and process our losses, but also get to know our neighbors." She goes on to say she wants to see her community build relationships that will strengthen our community bonds and prevent tragic events like this from happening in the future.
We need closure.
For Thompson and the rest of his family, closure is what is most important now, while finding ways to prevent another family from going through this kind of loss.
There's bad eggs out there. There is. You're always going to have that. But not only can police our own communities to make it safe for our children so this tragedy doesn't happen again.
The 2 minors arrested were transported to Long Creek Correctional Facility in South Portland. They're expected to make their first court appearances by tomorrow. And as for the 23-year-old, he's being held at the Androscoggin Jail and will be arraigned on June 12th.
All right, Sam York, thank you very much for that. Meanwhile, a major decision today in that controversial Central Maine power transmission line that's proposed for Western Maine. The Maine Public Utilities Commission has approved the permit for that transmission line. In its discussions, the commissioner says the line will provide significant public benefits. The PUC says it'll provide new needed electricity for the region, have some impact to lower costs and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Opponents continue to say the opposite of that, though, and that the harm is too great.
A lot of people not happy with this decision. Kathleen says so much for representing the will of the people of Maine. Sean adding, remember everyone, these are the people you voted for.
All right, so all week he's been talking about if we can, once we get to the weekend, we're going to be all right. Tomorrow's Friday. I mean, right?
Today
we're closer.
was pretty all right.
I mean, today was good. We're
good.
trending.
Lindsay is positive about today's weather.
Obvi.
I'm always looking ahead, brother. I'm a visionary.
I know.
Today's over. What's tomorrow?
Isn't that what I do? I look ahead.
Not quite sure what you do, actually.
Yeah,
so, good question.
50, that's a good point. 50 in Portland. Quiet down, Coco. 50 in Portland for a high. 49 in Augusta. 51 in Waterville. Nice sunny day statewide as well. Take a look at how sharp this cloud edge is down across southern New Hampshire. So it's overcast over western parts of Massachusetts and totally sunny over the eastern part of the state. Obviously, Maine, New Hampshire, and most of Vermont in good shape. It's going to be clear overnight tonight as well. Overnight, we start clouding up late in the evening, temperatures in the 30s. Now, tomorrow is a cloudier day than today was, but it's still not bad. Upper 40s, even some low 50s despite the cloud cover. And a couple of isolated showers can't be ruled out in the mountains, but most of us stay dry. Overnight Friday, we end up with the front coming on through. That's going to give us rain showers, a couple of moderate bands of rain possible early on Saturday. And then after that, we should get the front offshore by 7, 8 o'clock at the latest. And then it's off to the races. We should be able to clear out at least a bit. It gets us into the 60s and a lot of us into the low 70s away from the immediate coastline on Saturday. Guys, let me be a dad for a moment here, which is the sun angle this time of the year is the same as late August. So you got to put the
sunscreen. See, look at that.
I was wondering
so
where the dad
proud of you right now. Oh, I knew exactly where he was going.
That's good.
I wonder why. Do you have any kids? Or?
Thank you,
Keith,
sir.
thank you very much. In other headlines tonight, a Scarborough contractor is facing manslaughter charges in the death of a man who fell off a roof and died last December. Alan Leugnan was working on a roof in Portland's Munjoy Hill neighborhood. The 30-year-old was taken to the hospital after the fall but later died. According to the indictment, 44-year-old Sean Purvis is accused of violating an occupational safety or health standard of the federal government. Purvis and Leugnan were half-brothers and have the same father. Leugnan's fiancee, Christina Huff, says she wants other roofing companies to understand the importance of using safety equipment and enforcing it.
Use this safety equipment, wear it, and if you don't want to comply with those rules, then go home, because death is final. He's not coming back. You know, you fall and you die, you're not coming back.
Now, according to the Portland Press-Herald, Purvis says he's always provided that safety gear at his job sites, and he encourages his roofers to use it. Leugnan was the father of 2 young children.
Other news now, bipartisan members of Congress are supporting new legislation that they're calling the Traced Act. This is going to target illegal robocalls. It's got the backing of attorneys generals from every single state, consumer groups, and some telecom companies as well. The legislation carries criminal prosecution for violators, increases fines, requires carriers to implement technology to identify scammers and spoof numbers, and eases sharing of information and resources among federal and state law enforcement. All right, Ask Now, the Working Waterfront. We've heard from a viewer asking about the Working Waterfront group, a panel of Portland City officials, fishermen, and wharf owners who started the regular meetings at the start of the year now. The goal, to figure out how to balance preserving the city's fishing industry while continuing to grow and develop.
Toby writes, while I credit the city for its transparency as the Waterfront Working Group continues its work, I have to ask, who is this attorney who seems to have such an outsized influence on the proceedings? So we reached out to the attorney he was asking about, Sandra Guay. She responded saying her role is to provide legal advice, writing, quote, my role is primarily to advise and represent the group in their ongoing effort to protect and enhance Portland's working waterfront. The latest meeting happened a little earlier this afternoon at City Hall. The group is working to figure out how to go about the zoning in the working waterfront district with roughly 2 months remaining on the city's development moratorium.
Right now, we're really working at the tasks at hand, and the moratorium extends through about the middle of June, and it's our goal and our expectation that we'll at least have completed our zoning discussion by that time.
The group meets twice a month on the first and third Thursdays at City Hall, and all meetings are open to the public. The latest drugstore chain to start selling CBD products.
And we're going to learn a little bit more about who is listening to recordings from Alexa and why. That's after the break.
Rite Aid Pharmacy will start selling cannabis-based products this month. It's the latest drugstore chain to announce plans to sell CBD topical items in 200 stores across the whole country. The items include CBD creams, lotions, and lip balms. Walgreens and CVS also recently introduced similar products in some of their stores. While CBD, which is derived from hemp, is now legal, the FDA has not approved it for use in food or beverage products, nor can it be sold as a dietary supplement.
It is a big day for Disney lovers, and that would be pretty much everybody in my house. The entertainment giant is unveiling a family-friendly video streaming service at its headquarters in Burbank. Disney Plus. It will be an ad-free monthly subscription service with television shows and movies. The service is expected to feature programming from the Marvel superhero universe and other films from the Disney library, as well as exclusive and original content. Executives say that new releases will also appear on Disney Plus after their runs in theaters are over. No word yet about how much it's going to cost or any other details, but I feel like that will be something we will certainly be looking into in my house.
Yeah, hopefully you're not paying too much for that.
Hopefully you are correct.
Bloomberg is reporting Amazon has a team of thousands of people around the world who listen to voice recordings from the company's smart speakers to try and improve how Alexa responds to commands. The report says the team transcribes and annotates recordings that have been captured from Echo speakers after the wake word is detected from the customer's device. Users can tell when a wake word is detected because the light ring at the top of the Echo turns blue. I've seen this happen to mine too. Amazon emphasizing in its statement to Bloomberg, the employees don't have direct access to information to be able to identify the person or account where the recording is coming from. Okay, good to know.
Still don't trust it, sorry.
Coming up, we're going to learn more about the incredible story of a blind man helping police make an arrest.
And we will get a look at that forecast, which Keith promises to be super nice. Yeah. The forecast is coming. Oh, man, what is that?
What is that?
All right, so we've all seen that body camera videos of people trying to help police taking down some people. Well, the one we're about to see is a little bit different because somebody from the community with a pretty special circumstance was able to help as well.
Lauren Zakalik explains why he was compelled to step up and help.
Cassie left.
Jim Walker has been legally blind for years.
I quit driving in 2012.
But there was nothing
I remember intensity.
that could have stopped him from jumping in to help two Fort Worth police officers
They were scuffling and we were coming out of the banks.
that were in need last weekend.
We're arriving on scene.
Body camera video shows the officers detaining and searching two teenagers, one of them a minor, suspects in a shots fired call. That's when the officers find a gun.
A Glock 22, it's a 40 caliber.
Walker, who'd just left the bank where this was all happening, was standing by.
I remember hearing him telling us, I'm just trying to help you.
He kicks the patrol car.
It was then the suspect started to scuffle with the officers, the gun still not secure.
I didn't know he was there until he was right there, until he was climbing on top.
The 57-year-old held the suspect down, allowing one of the officers to secure the gun.
I wasn't going to let an officer get hurt. I wasn't going to let anybody get hurt if I could avoid it.
Officers David Woolbright and Matthew Brazil didn't know Walker was legally blind at the time. They also didn't know that Walker, a one-time Fort Worth police recruit, has close ties to law enforcement himself.
I've always been pro-law enforcement ever since my sister was brutally killed back in '74.
Last year, we profiled Walker's search for his sister Carla's killer. She was murdered in West Fort Worth after a dance. He carries her with him in all he does.
Every day. Yep, every day. And I just wish somebody had been there. Yeah, to help my sister.
And on this day, he was there to help those officers.
So you have this man here who's willing to put himself in harm's way, help us out.
In Fort Worth.
I mean, he deserves probably all the recognition here.
I'm Lauren Zakalik.
I mean, we talk a lot about the stories that have all the feels, right? I mean, that story has all the feels. I mean, here's just what a great story. So makes you feel good.
It does. This weather really makes me
so
feel good too.
So does warm weather makes me feel good.
I know.
Feel good?
I do. But I'm gonna feel better, right?
Yeah. What you mean once you move to mornings?
No, I mean once the weather gets better.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I mean, Todd puts on a good face, but.
Yeah, the sun. It's funny.
I'll be able to give you the real stories about Gunner.
Yeah,
I will report back to you directly.
We know.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Trust
but
me,
we just
did
can't.
a bunch of years on the weekends. I already got some secrets.
Yeah, you got. I know. I noticed he's very nice around you, which is got to be a reason for that. Today was beautiful. The weekend even nicer. Now today, though, as far as total sunshine, was the best day of the week. Got to 50 in Portland. That's, believe it or not, below the average high, but the average of extremes in spring in Maine. Some years it's 30, other years it's 65, 70. We end up with something in the middle there. Visible satellite. Take a look at this really sharp cloud line down across southwestern parts of New Hampshire and Vermont. We're nowhere near any clouds, so we'll be clear through at least the first half of tonight. But that is one of the sharper edges you'll see. Just part of a warm front that's going to lift through here overnight tonight and into tomorrow, giving us a few more clouds when compared to today. Hour-by-hour forecast, though, pretty clean tonight. Not a whole lot going on, but because it's clear out, temperatures are going to drop pretty quickly. So a lot of us will end up below freezing by early tomorrow morning, and then watch those clouds roll in. We start with sun, but by the middle of the day, most of us are cloudy. Can't rule out an isolated rain shower in the mountains, but most of us are dry. Temperatures in the mid and upper 40s, but not as pretty a day as today was. That front comes through. Another one follows it on Friday night. That's a little heavier with rain showers, downpour or two a possibility through late Friday and through early Saturday. But look where this front is by 4 a.m. We should get it offshore by 6, 7 a.m. and then start to clear out a bit through the middle of the day. But look where the temperatures are to start the day on Saturday. Already in the mid 40s, upper 40s, on the way to upper 60s and low 70s. If we clear out as much as this model thinks we will, I think we could see some 73, 74 degree readings away from the immediate coastline. Getting away from the coast, though, is key this time of the year because that ocean temperature is 38 degrees or so. So look at Rockland and Bar Harbor. They're in the 50s. No fun for them. But for the rest of the state, we get into the low 70s. Lewiston, Augusta, Sanford, Portsmouth, 66 in Bangor. The mountains even should be around 60 degrees by Saturday afternoon. By the way, Sunday is nice as well. A little bit cooler, but a blue chips kind of day. Marathon Monday, guys. Terrible. Just raining the entire day, some wind in there as well. And then we get a little break. Another storm comes in on Friday. That's also a rainer. Snowpack, just want to show you this because we're going to get rain on Monday and again late in the week. So we'll have to start thinking about how much water is contained in the huge amounts of snow in the mountains and across northern Maine. That'll come into play on Monday afternoon for the possibility of some flooding here and there. I made the raindrops really big so you know I'm serious there on Monday. I mean, it's just going to be a bad day. But the weekend looks really good.
Snowpack melt feels like a future braindrop segment coming
It does. Like how much, it depends the type, the density.
Like
they
to put
actually,
in to give it relative terms, right?
They measure it by a satellite, like what's the density of it, how much water is likely in it. So.
All right.
I like when you give me braindrop ideas.
I'm just saying, I feel like that's coming. I'll be watching.
You're going to still text me
from home.
I'll still be texting, exactly.
If I'm still awake.
Are you going to miss what's happening?
Yeah.
Of course you're going to miss this. All right, the newest dance craze to hit the internet, hit the whoa. So
what is this?
I got to watch this. Okay.
It's like they're steering on the steering wheel of a car, maybe.
Okay, so you move your hands in a circular motion and then freeze and then do a peace sign? What's up?
And I think you have to stick your tongue out.
Yeah, is that what everybody does? Okay, let's see this one.
She didn't do that, so.
Oh, he's gone.
And he didn't either. Hold on, I got
Does it go to a certain song?
I think it's like it's almost like a kung fu, like.
Yeah. Do we get a black belt?
I think that's it. Costa's laughing at us. I think we drilled it.
Honestly, that's easier than the
I
floss.
think that is
way easier than the floss.
I tried that once. I pulled the muscle. I didn't even know I had a muscle, so that's how it happened.
You don't have the body type to do the floss correctly.
Boy, am I gonna miss you. Boy, am I gonna miss you.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I know what you're saying. Let's carry on, shall we?
You know what I mean?
So the dog that we're about to see just keeps on going and going and going. Look how many times the pup can keep the balloon in the air. Look at that. That's a size good puppy.
That's actually really cute.
Yeah, isn't that great, Lindsay? so cute. It's totes cute.
Our next story takes us over to Thailand. Locals and tourists cooling off in the heat over there, marking the Thai New Year today by splashing water on elephants. Don't let their adorable mannerisms deceive you. The giant animals showed no mercy to children and adults alike as they slurped up water and then sprayed them. This is a festival marking the Thai New Year and is often referred to as the world's biggest water fight. I'm sure you would love to.
Just really, I think less is more.
That's true.
Okay, still to come on News Center Maine at 5:30. The PUC's approval of CMP's transmission line does not mean that the project is a go just yet. We'll be hearing from both sides and see what the other hurdles need to be cleared before the project actually does get underway.
And police in Oregon get a call about an intruder in a home, and they make sure the suspect could make a clean getaway. That and more, and brain drops when we come back.
All right, today's Brain Drops viewer question. Let's go to it here. I love when I get these. We heat our home during the winter months with a wood stove. Our house gets very dry, so we use a humidifier to add moisture to the air, which makes sense. My question is, why does the humidity drop way down when we open a window, even when it's pouring rain? So the question is, okay, it's raining out. Shouldn't that bring moist air into our house if we open the window? Good question. Took me a second to think of it this morning, and I got the answer. Okay, so you're heating your house, you get your wood stove. You know, that is a dry kind of heat to put out. So say it's 72 degrees in your house, the dew point is 55. So your relative humidity is 55%, which is reasonable. You want to be over 50 and under 70 in a house in general, if you can be. Okay, so it's outside, it's raining. It's 38 degrees, the dew point is 38. So when it's raining, the relative humidity generally is going to read 100%, right? Because the air is saturated 100%. That's how we've got rain all the way to the surface. But it's important to note the temperature isn't that warm, so the dew point can't be that high, which means when the window is opened, and everything else being equal, that moist air starts moving into the house, okay? Why doesn't it make it more moist in the house? The reason is because you're still taking that dew point of 38 and you're putting it in where the temperature is 72. So now, using the same equation, 72, your dew point is 38 near the window, your relative humidity is actually lower than it was before, and it feels drier. So it's counterintuitive, but the problem is this temperature during the winter. So say it's summer and you open the windows. You wouldn't be using wood stove, so this wouldn't really apply. But say it's 70 over 70, and it's saturated. Now you're putting a dew point of 70 in the house, and it's going to feel more moist. But during the winter, even when it's raining, it's not that moist, as odd as that seems. Another reason why relative humidity is not a great measure of what it feels like to be outside, and it's always that dew point instead. Did anybody follow this at all?
Yeah, so if it's a warmer winter day, you've got a shot. But if it's a regular winter day of under 50 degrees, you're probably not going to make it any better.
Correct. Say it's 55 and raining. Then you can open your window. But I would argue even still, then you have to heat more and it gets even drier in the house. So it probably doesn't do you any good. Just run the humidifier. That's the best way to do it. But yeah, during the summer this works. But during the summer we're not often saying, oh, it's too dry in my house.
Right.
Right. So your best case is that it be mild during the winter when it's raining, in which case you're not using wood stove, so it doesn't matter. So in short, this doesn't really do you any good other than to feel like you're airing your house out, which has value. When my wife got the flu recently, and I did a little research on whether or not that's a real thing.
Sure.
And it is. If you can open it up.
Good, because we do that all the time.
You air it out?
Like the first day of any warmth, it's like, open the windows, get all the germs out of the house. So.
Well, but then the kids offset it in your case. But in general, it does help.
I have more windows than kids.
Yeah,
so I got a shot.
Keep that equation going.
News Center Maine at 5:30 starts
right now.
Right now.